Hello and welcome to the first of a series of short videos where we discuss topical issues in the private market space. My name is James Tasker and I'm joined here today by my colleagues Matthew Evershed and Dan Sharp, who heads up our private market capabilities here at Sionic. Dan, you led a client forum in spring with a number of our asset owner and asset manager clients who traditionally have invested in the public market space but nowadays also have a significant private markets book. The things that were covered in this were current operating models, the challenges facing the industry and how those clients are addressing said challenges. Could you tell me a little bit more about the key takeaways from that, please?
Sure. I think the first thing to say is, as you alluded to, private markets has been a growth area and will continue to be a growth area. A number of asset managers and asset owners who participated in the survey might have had no private markets exposure 10 to 15 years ago, but now it makes up 20 to 50% of their AUM. And as a result of that, there are a number of common industry challenges. So things like high prevalence of manual processes, challenges around operating model robustness and scalability, challenges around product governance and risk. And what we found through the forum was the sense is the industry is at an inflection point, given that how much private markets businesses have grown. If firms haven't already taken steps to address those challenges, they're likely to start doing so in the near future.
Great, thank you. That covers off the client side. Matt, would you say these changes are also being reflected in the vendor and technology landscape?
Yes, it would be fair to say we have seen developments in the market over the past few months. Most notably State Street's acquisition of Mercatus and BlackRock's solution acquiring eFront, both making plays to provide a solution that's front to back for both public and private markets on one platform, which in my view is ultimately where the industry wants to get to. Whilst we're also seeing those specialist service providers investing heavily in their private market capabilities, all with probably a view to addressing the challenges that Dan laid out previously, while helping the private market space build scalability into the future.
I think since the client forum, that point I made earlier about the industry being at an inflection point has been borne out. We've certainly seen an uptick in the number of asset managers and asset owners initiating projects to look at enhancing their private markets operating model, whether that's through organisational design or exploring some of the technology vendor and outsourced service provider offerings that Matt mentioned earlier.
Right, there's clearly a lot of movement on both sides of the coin there. Dan, do you see that being enough going forward?
There's clearly development in the market and the market is moving forward. It's nowhere near as developed as the public market space, that much is obvious. Deep capability exists in terms of addressing some of the challenges we've talked about on a per asset class basis. The challenge is bringing all of that together, given the diversity and complexity of a lot of portfolios now, particularly extending across into public markets, as Matt touched on. So I think the capability is out there. The challenge is just bringing it all together into a holistic solution.
Yeah, and I think just to add, the silver bullet is what everyone wants, but it's not necessarily out there at the moment. With the vendors we've mentioned previously, there aren't yet instances of them being fully deployed, and it will be useful to see real life case studies once they have been. Conversely, it will be interesting to see how the specialist providers build up their capabilities to compete with those single solutions as we move forward.
I think to summarise, the key for asset managers and asset owners is to understand this changing market landscape and understand how some of the new solutions coming to market might be able to better help them address existing industry challenges.
Brilliant. Well, thank you both very much for your views.